Most apps fail not because they look bad, but because they ignore how people actually think. The best designers in the world don't just push pixels, they understand psychology. And today I'm going to show you 6 psychology principles that will completely change the way you design. Every single one comes with a real before and after, so you can see exactly what to do differently. Let's go. Here's something that sounds obvious, but almost nobody does. Stop giving users blank forms. Look at this booking screen. 5 completely empty fields. Every single one is a decision the user has to make before anything happens. Psychologists call this decision fatigue. The more choices you stack on someone at once, the more likely they are to make no choice at all and just leave. A study from Columbia University found that when a grocery store displayed 24 jam flavors, only 3% of people bought one. When they showed just 6, the purchase rate jumped to 30%. More choices doesn't mean better, it means harder. Now look at this version. Same screen, same fields, but everything is pre-filled with the most common choices. And the button doesn't just say search, it tells you there are already 12 results waiting. Here's why this works so well. 70 to 90% of users in most products never change the default values. That's not laziness, it's trust. When you provide a smart default, users read it as a recommendation. You're saying, this is what most people pick, and that's incredibly persuasive. The user's job shifts from fill this out from scratch to scan and adjust what doesn't fit. That's a fundamentally easier task. So the principle is called smart defaults, and the rule is simple. Pre-select the most common choice for every field. Don't make users think when you already know the answer. This tip will change the way you think about onboarding entirely. Researchers at Columbia ran a study at a car wash. One group of customers got a loyalty card with 8 empty stamps. Fill all 8, get a free wash. The second group got a card with 10 stamps, but 2 were already filled in. Same 8 washes needed. But the group that started with 2 stamps completed the card at nearly double the rate. That's the goal gradient effect. The closer people feel to finishing something, the faster they move toward it. And the critical insight is this. You can choose where the starting line is. Look at this onboarding screen. 0% complete. 5 empty steps. It's telling the user you haven't started and there's a lot ahead. That's deflating, even if the actual work is minimal. Now this version. Same form, same fields, but progress already shows 20%. The first step is checked off. The user can see exactly where they are and how close the finish line is. They didn't do any extra work. You just reframed account creation as step 1 instead of treating it as a separate event. 0% feels like standing still. 20% feels like momentum. And that feeling is what separates the users who finish onboarding from the ones who drop off at the second screen. LinkedIn does this brilliantly. They show you a profile strength meter from the moment you sign up, and it's never at 0. The rule? Never start a user at 0. Find something they've already done and count it. That artificial head start creates real motivation. If you want to get better at designing onboarding that actually works, Mobbin is genuinely the best resource for it. You can study how top teams design onboarding, upgrades, checkouts, and other key flows. So instead of guessing what good UX looks like, you can actually see it. In fact, one of the first things we do before designing any onboarding flow is go to Mobbin and search for onboarding. Instantly, you can see real examples from top products, which makes it much easier to find inspiration and see what good patterns look like in practice. It's a simple trick that helps you design better and faster. And if you want to try it too, you can get 20% off using the special link in the description. So far we've talked about making things easier or making things urgent. But if the user doesn't trust you yet, none of it matters. Most apps ask for something before they give anything. Sign up to see your results. Create an account to continue. Enter your email to unlock. The user hasn't received a single thing of value and already the app wants something from them. Look at the screen. The user entered their URL, hit analyze, waited for the scan, and now the results are blurred out behind a lock. Create an account to see your report. Think about what that communicates. You're holding their results hostage. It's like a restaurant asking for your credit card before they show you the menu. You'd walk out, and that's exactly what users do here. Now this approach. The user hits analyze and actually gets a real report. Not the full thing, but enough to be genuinely useful. Their score, their top issues, what passed. They can already see what's wrong with their site and start thinking about fixes. And then at the bottom, a simple prompt. Want the complete breakdown with step-by-step instructions? Save your report. The difference in conversion is massive because of a principle called reciprocity. When someone gives you something first, you feel a pull to return the favor. It's not rational. It's one of the deepest human instincts we have. Robert Cialdini spent his career studying persuasion and ranked this as the single most powerful driver of human behavior. It's why free samples at grocery stores increase purchases by up to 2,000%. The sample isn't that good, but receiving it creates an unconscious debt. Every smart company uses this. Costco gives you free samples. Spotify gives you 30 days of premium. Notion lets you use the entire product before you ever pay. They're not being generous, they're being strategic. The sign-up never feels like a wall because the user already got something worth coming back for. Have you ever spent an afternoon assembling IKEA furniture and then thought, actually, this looks pretty good? It objectively doesn't look that different from what you'd buy pre-assembled. But it feels different because you built it. You spent time on it, and that labor changed how you value it. Researchers actually studied this and gave it a name: the IKEA effect. When people build something themselves, they value it significantly more than an identical item someone else made. There's an even simpler version of this called the endowment effect. You don't even have to build something. Just feeling like you own it is enough. Now think about what most sign-up pages do. Email, password, sign up. There's nothing on this screen that belongs to the user. They haven't created anything. They haven't chosen anything. Closing the tab is effortless because there's nothing to lose. Now look at this approach. The user hasn't signed up yet, but they're already building. They're choosing their name, their title, their color palette, their card style. Every choice makes this feel more like theirs. And the button at the bottom doesn't say sign up, it says continue. Because by now, leaving doesn't feel like skipping a form. It feels like abandoning something they made. Duolingo does this brilliantly. Before you ever create an account, you've already picked your language, set your goal, and completed your first lesson. By the time the sign-up screen appears, you've invested 10 minutes. You're not going to throw that away. That's not manipulation, that's smart design. You're giving people a reason to stay by letting them build something worth staying for. Most designers are still learning UX and UI the old way. They watch another tutorial on how to recreate a beautiful app screen, add a smooth Figma interaction, or create another glass effect. And yes, those things can be useful, but they're not what gets you hired at serious product companies. Because interviewers are not just looking for someone who can make a screen look nice. They want to see how you think. They want to see if you understand user psychology, conversion, retention, business impact, and why certain design decisions actually work. That's why we created UX Peak Plus. UX Peak Plus teaches the advanced UX and UI skills most designers are missing. We break down how top companies design product pages, onboarding flows, pricing pages, mobile apps, SaaS products, and high-converting experiences. So you can understand not just what looks good, but what actually works. It's the kind of knowledge you can use in your case studies, portfolio, interviews, and real product work. You can start for free at uxpeak.com with the free course. And if you decide to join UX Peak Plus, use code UXPeak20 to get 20% off with our launch offer. You also have a 7-day money-back guarantee, so there is no risk. Now let's get into the next tip. Alright, that was about making users feel invested. But what about motivation? What makes someone actually act instead of tapping maybe later? Daniel Kahneman won a Nobel Prize for proving that the pain of losing something is psychologically twice as powerful as the pleasure of gaining the same thing. Twice. Think about what that means for product design. Every time you frame a feature as something users could gain, you're using the weaker motivator. Look at the screen, a storage app offering a premium upgrade. Nice icon, nice feature list, nice button, upgrade now. And below it, the world's easiest escape hatch, maybe later. There's nothing at stake, nothing changes if the user ignores this. The screen has zero psychological weight. Now this version, same product, same goal, but instead of selling what the user could have, it shows what the user is about to lose. Their actual files, by name, with a countdown, and the dismiss option doesn't let you off easy. It says, I'll risk it. The first screen is a pitch. The second screen is a threat, and threat wins every time, because of a concept called the status quo bias. Humans are wired to protect what they already have. You need to make them feel the cost of inaction. So here's the takeaway. Whenever you're designing a screen that asks users to act, flip the framing. Don't sell what they'll gain, show what they'll lose if they don't. Last one is a principle that explains why the exact same price can feel expensive or feel like nothing. Look at the screen. A protection plan shown on its own page. $50 a month. The user sees that number in isolation and does a quick mental calculation. $600 a year. That's a lot. They hit no thanks and move on. Now look at the same offer in a different context. The user just added a $1,900 laptop to their cart. And directly below the product, the protection plan appears. Same $50, but now there's a small label next to it, just 2.6%. Nothing changed about the offer. Everything changed about how it feels. After seeing $1,900, $50 barely registers. Your brain isn't doing an absolute evaluation anymore. It's doing a relative one. And relative to the price you just processed, this is a rounding error. This is the contrast effect. Your brain evaluates every piece of information relative to the thing it saw immediately before. Restaurants use this constantly. They put a $90 Wagyu steak on the menu not because many people order it, but because it makes the $40 salmon look like a reasonable choice. Real estate agents show you a slightly overpriced house first, so the one they actually want to sell feels like a deal. For designers, the rule is, don't show a cost in isolation. Always control what the user sees first, because that first number becomes the ruler they measure everything else against. So those were the 6 UX psychology principles, and if you zoom out, they all share the same insight. Your users aren't making logical decisions. Defaults feel like recommendations. The first number sets the anchor. A gift creates a debt. Building something makes it yours. And progress, even a fake one, creates real momentum. The designers who get this build products people can't stop using. The ones who don't build products people forget exist. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.